deciphering what the hell they mean. Okay? And this is a confluence of a lot of things going on here. I wanted to back up, step back. I think it's important that we recognize how these amendments get put on the ballot. Okay? There are two traditional methods in any other election year that you would see amendments placed on the ballot, and that's through the citizens initiative. That's when you go out and you get votes and you get signatures. You have to register as a, as an organization, a local organization, to go out and get those signatures. There's certain rules that you have to follow. Once you get 10% of those signatures, then it has to have a financial impact study done, so you know exactly what it's going to cost, what the details are, the cost of the state. And then, as you go forward, it goes up to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General sends it to the Supreme Court, and they have to look at it and say, does this interfere with what's called a single subject rule? You might have heard that the single subject rule means that one amendment placed on the ballot by citizens initiative or the legislature, has to follow a single subject. If it trends into two subjects, they will strike it from the ballot, and they have done that. Amendment 8 was passed around. Okay, so amendments 1 through 5 were placed on the ballot for traditional amendments. Citizens initiative, they got signatures. I think it's only amendment 4, and that's the one that restores the felon voting rights. And the others were placed there by the legislature. Now, this is just a side note. Maybe they're political science. I'm a political junkie. Right now, Florida, and this is a nonpartisan conversation. I'm just going to speak the facts. Florida is controlled by one party. Okay? And that one party has a lot of control on what goes on the ballots. And we're talking about this as an initiative. The other traditional method of getting on the ballot is through the legislature. So through a joint resolution, the 60% of the votes agree to put it on the ballot, it gets put on the ballot and sent to the Supreme Court. Okay? Now, I personally have some objections to that because I personally believe, my personal opinion, when you have a party in control of the legislature, you typically go through the legislative process to get that passed. That's just my side of it. So those are the two traditional methods. Now, there are two other ways, and this is where it gets complicated. And for those of you who don't know anything about 6 through 13, you should pay attention, okay? There's this thing called budget. And the Florida Constitutional Revision Commission meets once every 20 years, and really the reason for that meeting was to kind of get all of the Constitution and the alignment, clean it up, make it tight to where they don't feel happy. And what has happened, a lot of things have happened. One, it used to be not transparent. You didn't know this was going on, right? In the age of social media and the digital world, it's become very transparent what's going on and what's happening. And what they do is they're allowed to bundle multiple issues into one amendment. And they don't have to do anything with each other, okay? So you might notice when you read these different amendments, you'll notice when it starts getting to 6 through 13, you start seeing 3 issues from each one. And you got to read it because the way they structure it, they'll bait you with something like a first responder. Yes, support the first responders, but then later on down, the third one, there's a little hidden gem in there that can have really serious consequences on every foreigner. Okay, so I would, as a matter of caution, take those 6 through 13 very seriously. And here's the reason why. Okay, I mentioned earlier about the composition of these commissions. And again, this is a nonpartisan conversation. I can't reiterate that enough. I'm on the Palm Beach County Human Rights Council. We are a 501c4 nonpartisan organization. But the truth is, the composition of the Constitutional Revision Commission includes the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, 15 members selected by the governor. It's 15 members selected by the governor. 9 members selected by the Speaker of the House, and 9 members selected by the President of the Senate. So the legislature has say in who gets on this commission. 3 members are elected by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and the governor himself. So I think in total there's 37, and every single person appointed to that was appointed by somebody who had, we'll say, just conservative leanings or from one party. That's just the facts. I'm not being partisan, okay? So make sure you read the amendments. There are a lot of resources out there. And by the way, there's one other way, and this is going to come up, so pay attention whenever 2025 rolls around or something like that. It's only like 7-8 years away. But in 2007, they passed another way of getting amendments on the ballot, and that's through the Taxation and Budget Reform Commission. Many of you might remember we voted on that, right? And in 2027, they're going to have their first commission sat. And again, it's going to be based on who is in office and who gets appointed to that. So right now, the way we see it, these commissions, there's really not a marketplace of ideas, so to speak, on those commissions. So, but again, 6 through 13, just really pay attention to it. And I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I'm not going to tell you how to vote for each one of these. The only one I'm really passionate about is the only amendment that was placed on the ballot by Citizens Initiative, which got the requisite votes, that got approved by the Supreme Court, is Amendment 4 to restore felon voting rights for these nonviolent felons who have, they're back in society and living a full and healthy life, okay? That's the only one that I would really consider you paying really close attention to. And there's some little tidbits here too. I don't know if you know this, but the amount of signatures you have to get an initiative put on the ballot, if you want to do it through the Citizens Initiative process, is, I got it written down here, it's like 8% of the votes cast in the last presidential election. And you can also call for a constitutional convention. People can too, if you get 15% of the signatures for the previous presidential voter turnout. So that, hopefully that dispelled, did that help a little bit to explain like how things get on the ballot? Was it clear as mud, or was it somewhat clear, okay? So I just wanted to point out that the League of Women Voters, how many of you have heard of League of Women Voters? League of Women Voters? They're a really, really, really respected organization throughout the state. They're a completely nonpartisan organization, and if they think that they tread even remotely into politics, they just will not have a response to that amendment, okay? They do have their election guide online. Now, one of the best resources I found came from a very unlikely place. It's called Florida Today. It's a newspaper, I think in Brevard County, I'm not sure. But they have a really, really, really good Florida politics section, and is well known for it. But FloridaToday.com, they will take you through every amendment. They have a really big editorial board that has vetted every single one of those amendments. They give you their analysis of why they say vote no and yes. There's only a few yes votes they have. And they also give you a link to an article of an opposing view in case you want to challenge your thinking about, well, let's see what the other side has to think as well. So go to FloridaToday.com or just do Google Florida Today, how to vote on the amendments, and it takes you through exactly how each one got on, who's behind it, who's supporting it, what consequences they have for each one of the amendments, and they segment out which ones are bundled, and they have each one of the three components of those bundled amendments. So I don't want to talk too much. I think an educated voter is a voter that goes out there and does his or her own research. But go to FloridaToday.com. Check out the League of Women Voters. If you have a pamphlet, they're pretty much all over the place. You can probably grab one. But these amendments are important. There's some hidden things in there that deal with the state university system that I think are problematic. There's some things in there dealing with criminal justice I think that are problematic. So just take your time. You have a few days. You know there's times when if you don't want to do work around the house or run those errands, just sit down and take the time to go through this. It really does matter. And if you don't vote for it, you're giving the people who are passionate about voting yes on these things more power to get these things passed, okay? So those are some things I want you to know about the amendments, and if you have any questions, just come up and see me, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. My name is Claudia Mendoza. I don't think there is a point to speak Spanish because we all speak English. I am the president. I'm a partisan person. I am the president of the Democratic Hispanic Caucus. And for us, it's very important to educate people because it's too much. Too much knowledge? What? We educate the people and we study. And we decide just to make the things easy for people. And when the people call and ask, we tell the people the most important amendments that really are important for people are number 4 and number 9. If you want to make a change in the people's life in Florida State, you should vote yes. Number 4 and number 9. Because the other are not going anywhere, are not taking us anywhere. They are made in the way that you fail, that you make an open windows that we don't need. And it's easy, if you haven't voted yet, vote yes, and number 4 and number 9. What is number 4? We need to collect for 2 years 850,000 signatures in order to be in the ballot, which means it's important, it's from the people to the people. And number 9 is to forbid, drill the ocean to explore gas and oil. We don't need that thing happening in Florida because our economy depends on the tourism. We don't need that. We already have Audrey, we already have Latai. There is something. The number 13 is about the dogs. It's about how people feel about dogs. It's personal. The number 3 is about the casino. Very, very well managed by them. I think we don't have to kill ourselves thinking about 13 amendments, 12 amendments. Number 4, easy, restoration of rights. 9, don't drink the oceans. Go and vote yes. The most important thing, vote. If we don't vote, we don't count. If we don't vote, they keep doing the same thing. We have a one-party government, state, country. We need to change that. And the only way to change is not booing, is not crying, is not cursing, is voting. If we don't vote, we don't make any change. And we have the chance. Vote is power. It's easy like that. We vote, we have the power to change. And that's it. We still have time tomorrow, 7 to 7, all the libraries and office supervisor of election. Monday, no, there is no voting. And Tuesday, you go to precinct. Go is 4 pages ballot, in case you don't know.
Just to follow real quick, just a second or a moment. Amendment 4 you were talking about, I see Christy Fox out here. We've been phone banking for some candidates. And I can't tell you how many times I've called and I got the person to say, I support that person, but I can't vote because I'm a felon. I can't, and it's happened to me, it's happening over and over and over. And this is a real thing, it's a real problem. People do not have the right to vote when all their rights have been restored except for the right to vote. Now the second point about the drilling, I was born and raised in the Florida Panhandle, Western Florida Panhandle. And when Deepwater Horizon happened, we went to these beautiful white sand beaches in South Walton County, and there was oil throughout the beach. And what was even better is that if you tried to go and pick up the oil and help clean up, you were charged, you could get a $5,000 fine for helping clean up the oil from, hundreds of miles away out south of, Mobile and Louisiana. So it's absolutely no oil drilling. It affected where I live, and it will affect you if it ever happens down this way. So that's a very important one too. Anyway, I'm sorry to borrow the mic, but thank you all for coming here. You have anything else to say?
Yes, I will say, please, we need to call everybody. We have everything in the state. The minorities, with the women, with the moms, with girls. We need to make a change. Please get out to vote, and also vote yes in the referendum for the school district. It's very important. For all the people who has kids in the school, we need to help them. We need better payment, and we need security, and we need mental illness support, and classes, art, music, PE. Please get out to vote. Don't forget to vote. If you have the ballot, don't put in the mail. Bring to the office. Please, if you need help, we can go to your house, pick your ballot, and do the favor to bring. I can do that. Thank you so much for coming, and hopefully all of you voted and you are going to vote. Thank you. Thank you so much. And
Thanks, Rolanda. This was amazing.